we will have our morals, we will protect our children. And we are making this law, for ourselves, we are making this law for our children, we are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Homosexuals have no space in Uganda. That was said by a lawmaker. You'd think that such rhetoric has no place in today's time. But this rhetoric is rampant in the country and in fact thrives in Uganda. In Parliament, Uganda's anti-homosexual legislation was celebrated with song and fervour. Lawmakers rejoiced as the Parliament passed laws criminalizing same-sex relationships. In fact, even identifying as a gay or lesbian can now get people imprisoned for 20 years. The legislation makes it a duty for families, friends, and members of the community to report homosexuals to authorities. There's a ban on promoting and abetting homosexuality. The law promises to act against the conspiracy to engage in same-sex activities. Perhaps the most radical provision is people engaging in aggravated acts of homosexuality will get a life sentence. That's if they're lucky. If not, they'll get the death penalty. What is an aggravated act of homosexuality? According to Uganda, it's when a person has sexual intercourse with a partner of the same sex or when either person is HIV positive. All but one member of the parliament spoke against the bill. The legislation hasn't become the law yet. For that, it would require the sign of President Yoweri Museveni. But that's a foregone conclusion. The man has opposed LGBTQ rights as a matter of principle. He's also called out the Western nations for putting pressure on Uganda over the issue. In 2013, the president signed a law that made gay sex punishable with life imprisonment. A court struck down that law, but it is now back with a much larger mandate. Life for the LGBTQ community is already incredibly difficult. In recent weeks, they have come under increasing attack. Last month, more than 110 people reported incidents including arrests, sexual violence, evictions, and public undressing for being queer. This month, a teacher was arrested over accusations of grooming of young girls into unnatural sexual practices. And just 2 days ago, the police arrested 6 people accused of running a network that was actively involved in the grooming of young boys into acts of sodomy. Between 2017 and 2020, 195 people were charged for being gay. The near-unanimous support for the anti-gay legislation is reflective of the mood in Uganda. It's a deeply conservative Christian country. Homosexuality is a taboo. The people of Uganda support the latest legislation. And it's not an exception in Africa. Out of the 69 countries in the world that have laws criminalizing homosexuality, 32 are in Africa alone. So homophobia is deeply entrenched.
So guys, I see that new bill that was signed into law on the 21st, which is Tuesday of March, the new anti-gay bill. But before I get into this video, let me give you some backstory. In 2014, President Museveni at the time had signed, he had to keep a press conference, he had signed a bill into law, an anti-gay bill, penalizing homosexuality. Let's say the alphabet people. You can get from 3 years to life imprisonment at the time. But the court had overturned that, had tossed it out in the High Court in Uganda. And the president and a few members wasn't happy about it. And the reason for it was because you need 2/3 vote on the bill to sign it into the law, and he didn't have it at the time. So they bring it back up into law recently, which is today is the 23rd. So on March 21st, which was Tuesday, they signed into law. But this time, it have a full support, this bill, because Uganda Parliament has 557 members. 556 signed on to this law, only 1 abstained. So basically, the entire Parliament signed this new bill, and this one is more rigid, because it has a death penalty in it. In few cases, and you're getting up to 14 years, and it allow families to, or friends to report you, basically. So, as I say in the video, all the new extra things they put into the law, especially the death penalty, which is, I'm not so on board with the death penalty because I don't believe you should kill someone or hurt someone for something they are. But the rest of the bill I agree with, but not the death penalty part of it. But anyway, so now the court cannot overturn. So now they're asking the president to vote to veto this bill, and it seems like the West and Europe don't know who President Museveni is. This guy is anti-LGBT. Everything, and he don't like the West because he's always bashing the West, calling them idiots, calling them leave Uganda alone, come out of Uganda. Politics don't force your lifestyle on us Ugandans. And he don't tell them, a few countries had cut in, and he tell them at the time, I don't want your aid. You can keep your aid. He said Uganda is rich. So you pull in aid, and he said the aid that was given towards Uganda was solely for this, to push his agenda. So now the United States just announced that if the president signs this into law, they don't reach his president this yet, they're going to sanction Uganda. But what America is forgetting, their sanctions don't hold much weight anymore. Russia had proven this. The sanction didn't work for Russia. And now you want to pressure Uganda by sanctioning them. Don't forget, with the BRICS, with the newly BRICS initiative, when they're going to use their own currency to trade, they don't need the US dollar. Ghana already using gold to purchase oil. Zimbabwe does introduce a gold coin that worth a little over 2,000 US. So Uganda, South Africa, all those countries are, let's backtrack. South Africa is in BRICS. Uganda want to join, Ghana want to join. Jamaica is actually going to join too. And Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Iran, Venezuela, all those countries doing away with the US currency. So the Saudi Arabia is now accepting other currency apart from the US for the petroleum, which they call it the petrodollar. So it's no longer in effect. Iran just said the same thing. So the US sanction on Uganda won't have that same bite as it used to be. And as Africa is coming together, and the African Union is now doing trade with each countries, and they're signing actual bilateral trades with each other. They don't need the West as much as before. And now, because you have a few presidents standing up, because you have 32 countries in Africa have strict anti-gay laws. 32 countries, and they have 55 countries in South Africa, in Africa, the continent. So you have annexed 30 countries, I don't know exactly which ones, that also ban this. I think, Qatar, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and those places also have banned and the illegality of this practice as well. So, again, the US must stop intervening into people's affairs. If they say they don't want this in their country, why are you enforcing your beliefs in a democratic country that elect their presidents via elections? So why are you now saying, oh no, you can do what you want, even though it's your country and you elect your own president, and they agree with the president? Because remember, only one person abstained from the law. So the entire, both the ruling party and the opposition all came together on this bill and signed it into law. That means it's a strict no in this country. So people, you cannot bash a country for what they believe in. Kenya passed a law as well, and they're trying to pressure Kenya into take it out of, to void it, which is not going to happen. Zimbabwe, South Africa is more lenient toward that, as far as I can see. But other African countries is strict. About 32 countries is strictly anti-LGBT, and it's not a hate. It's a lifestyle, cultural thing. It's a Western thing. It's not an African thing. So you cannot say that this is not your belief. Because if you live in these countries, then you can voice your opinion. But if you live out of this country, you can't, because Jamaica is anti-gay. Barbados, most of the Caribbean islands I know of is the same anti-LGBT. And this is the issue I find with most of the LGBT community. At first, they want equality, which means they have equality to do all the law. They can get to do certain things. They got it, but now they surpass that. They want to now make their lifestyle the entire world lifestyle. And now they're attacking kids and they are changing the norms. So people will push back, and the more they push this agenda is the more pushback they're going to get from regular people, because not everybody agree with this lifestyle. Even in the West, most of the people don't agree with it. So the more you push and you push, people are going to push back, and this is what's happening now. They already get their rights, but now they want to take it a step further and going after kids. So what do you think the world going to do? Now they're going to lose all the ground they gain, because if I'm for instance, let's say I am sympathetic to their cause, but because of this narrative they're pushing, now they are actually teaching kids this from kindergarten. As a parent, I don't want this to be taught to my child. So it's my choice, it's my right. But now you're saying, yes, you're a bad parent if you don't do this. You're going to get pushed back, and this is what's happening now worldwide. The world is now pushing back, and they're going to lose a lot of ground. They're going to lose sympathetic people towards their cause. Because it's no longer they want to live free. They want to impose and push their lifestyle on you, and that's not acceptable. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I just want to say it before, because you know how it is with the world right now. You're attacked for logical thinking. So stupidity is taking over the world right now, and logical thinking and education is more vilified. So I'm going to stay on the logical and educated side. I'm not going to be, not because of views, I'm not going to say, yes, this is right or this is wrong. This is my belief, and I'm going to stick by it. So anyway, thanks for watching. You don't know, it's a Washington SXM podcast. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace, one love. Boom.